Captain's Log, Stardate 2641.12.02. Examining the remote system in this galaxy that we have been transported to by the mysterious emissary probe, the Artemis has discovered a ring world, an alien megastructure, so far only dreamt of in science fiction writing on Terra hundreds of years ago, but generally dismissed as scientifically impossible. Unlike in the ideas of our ancestors, this structure did not circle a star, but a planet, leaving it to the habitat's power and life support systems to maintain it. I cannot even begin to imagine what those colossal machines, which must have been operating for thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, would look like. On our return to Seleno, we have made contact with an advanced alien race called the Guerrier. They have shown great interest in pre-imperial tech, but the Commodore has warned us against being too forthcoming. At the same time, we have run into additional mysteries concerning Starcom's own venture into this space, as we have gathered from a surprise find of wreckage that it wasn't entirely peaceful exploration, but a military matter with a high degree of secrecy. I wonder what our new alien allies would think if they knew what Starcom had planned for this universe. For now, this information remains above my clearance, and we will continue with our assigned mission to explore the systems beyond the gate and to locate the source of the Red Raider drones. Our mission would bring us to the further outlying sector of the spiral arm of the galaxy, where we encountered the Red Raiders first, because there are a few more systems to investigate. However, there is still a yellow star that we spotted on the sensors when we came across that very curious wreckage. So I think we'll take a slight detour and have a look at that and see what's going on there. So for now, we'll head back through the gate, and then we will get clear of Seleno for the autopilot to actually engage. There we go. Then we'll get clear. We get clear of the gate, hop over into the previously investigated system where Cadet Gliese had a bit of an unfortunate event. We didn't have any kind of enemy interactions in this. So from here on out, we will head through deep space towards the yellow star that we've spotted on the sensors. So far we've got a desert and a terrestrial world in the system, and a Higgs flinger as well. So there is potentially, do we have any further stars? No, but there's potentially more, there are potentially more star systems that are connected via the old relay network. For now, we'll scan the desert planet and see if there's anything unusual on it. There is not. So let's head over to the terrestrial world. So far, no opposition and no signs of raiders, but then again, the region of space that they've been inhabiting seem to have been much further rimwards and away from Seleno than in these close-by systems. A large terrestrial planet. Let's see if there's anything on this. And the sensor scan comes back positive, so away team into the planetary lander, and we'll go down and see what's going on. An ancient stone pyramid rises out of the thick mountain jungle. Its entrance is mostly overgrown, but easily detected by the lander's scanners. Okay, we might... There were ancient legends in Terran literature of pyramid-shaped starships that they imagined that would have been landing on these kind of structures. Eerily familiar with what we're seeing here. So we get the away team to go and explore the structure. At one point, the interior was equipped with sophisticated technological furnishings, most of which has been stripped away by looters and archaeologists. Some documents stored in low-res holographic crystals remain. As Cadet Triton explains, this was an academic institution devoted to the study of the remnants and their artifacts. So, Cassie, Academy was dedicated to the study of the wormhole gateways. They had made some dramatic insights shortly before research stopped abruptly. Interesting. So this was part of the Imperial... So the pyramids were part of the Imperial Research Network, and they were looking into the much older pre-Imperial remnant structures, so things like the wormhole gateways, potentially the ring world that we found, and other things. So let's get back to our ship. But obviously the Empire itself has ended as well, which means that there is, well, it's all abandoned at this point. All right, we have no systems on the sensor, so this flinger might bring us into a relatively far away sector. But we'll see where it goes. Usually there's one on the other side as well. So if we need to retreat rapidly, then that is generally an option. So this brings us to a faraway yellow star. Many stellar objects, but nothing threatening on the sensors. So probably not a need for an immediate retreat. Let's. Oh, there is a ship. There is a ship in this system. Let's cautiously get a little closer and see if we can get a scan off. But so far they don't seem to have activated any weapon systems and don't seem to be immediately hostile. Let's get closer and see if we can establish communications. Cut it, Triton. Your turn. You're up. CXTA 2002. We are carrying authorized cargo only. Our manifest has been logged with the Trade Guild. I am Commander Cromwell of Starcom. We are on a peaceful exploration mission. That's good to hear. Is peaceful exploration a euphemism? What would it be a euphemism for? Give us your cargo, will become less peaceful maybe. You hailed us. Is this a shakedown or not? So we actually have an option to engage in some piracy on the sideline, but no, that's not why Brad joined Starcom. It's all about the exploration and venturing into the unknown and the final frontier. No, we really are on a peaceful exploration mission. How can we show that? In that case, you should show that by getting out of our way and letting us get on with CXTA, with this CXTA authorized delivery. What is the CXTA? I am not sure how our mutual universal translators have chosen to represent our organization's name in your language. It is a compression of a long list of prior organizations expressed in Hydragian. We are a civilian cargo and passenger transport collective. Are you traders? While they did say they were authorized by the Guild, certainly not. We transport pre-arranged goods and services between worlds. We cannot enter into any ad hoc transactions. Such would violate our agreement with the Guild. Okay. That's fascinating. So this extremely alien creature is part of a group specialized in, or a race specialized in long-distance transport. But there's also another group out there, which is a trade guild, which appears to have control over the actual contracts of trade. So probably asking them to trade with us wouldn't get us anywhere. The ships seem somewhat slow for transports. Astute of you to notice. Many of our clients are suspicious of ships with military or espionage capacities. Rather than deal with the delays of frequent inspections, we choose our strategy of conspicuous weakness. The increased margins more than compensate for ransom payments and plunder. Okay, so they are having a business model of... They actually had less profit margins from the bureaucracy caused by ships that could defend themselves than losses they had from piracy. But this also implies that piracy is actually something that happens in this region. Okay, we'll end the communications for now. This was the second alien race that we've come in contact with, and we now know about at least one more, potentially two more alien races. So there certainly is a trade guild that might be the same race as the CXTA, or it might be a separate race. And there are also races engaged in piracy. Let's not fly too close to the star. Clearly our plating is not capable of withstanding temperature and pressure of that magnitude. Instead, let's head back and scan the surrounding planets and see if we can find something interesting. Certainly something on this rocky world. Let's get the survey, the planetary lander down. and the away team away. An abandoned mining vessel sits in a local miasma of highly corrosive gas. Cadet Gleason notices that the hull appears to have been designed for this environment, but even so it is slowly being eaten away. There's potentially valuable resources inside, but the team will have to move fast once the hull is breached. That is a very corrosive environment. The promise of potential loot, but it is beginning to eat away at the away team's suits, and Cadet Gleason is making his distaste for this idea of cutting into the ship very much known. So we'll follow his advice and we'll return to the ship. For now, he is, after all, our resident engineer. All right, I have many more available planets in this system. So let's go around. Oh, what do we have there? Another portal has just come up on the scanners near an ice planet. So let's yep, that looks like it looks like one of the Stargate structures, but it does look somewhat different as well. Structure is a crude facsimile of the remnant gateways. Crude compared to the remnants, I mean. It would be a major engineering feat for Starcom. So this could be Imperial tech. It could be that they have been trying to build build their own version of the gates, and that they've been trying to copy the more advanced remnant tech that was done by the precursors. The large artifact is quite advanced, but it is at least within the technological space we can comprehend. And glyphs on the structure's surface translate to heretic portal. We have heard something about a group called the Devout, so there is certainly a religious connotation around. There's an interface for remote access, but the directions for access seem to be encrypted. Okay, not much we can do about it now. But interesting to see. So this seems to be a later technology than the original elegant remnant tech that we've been using. Okay, scan the ice planet. There's nothing there, and we've got plenty of more worlds in a very busy system. So let's go through the various moons of that abandoned mining ship planet, and see if we can find anything interesting there. The moons have been uneventful, and so has the gas giant, but in the final planet orbiting this star, in a rocky world, the sensors have picked something up, so we're sending the away team down in order to find out what's going on. A large antenna structure is the only technological object in this rocky planet. Sensors detect regular long-range transmissions of unknown content. The outside surface is covered with glyphs that the Universal Translator interprets as roughly meaning sincere warning, danger on opening, high energy risk for tampering. Scans detect platinum and copper. Cadet Triton weighs in on this. I think the translator is off on this one. It's closer to devout warning, heretic portal opening monitor, attack response on tamper detection. That is okay. So that makes more sense. So this appears to be the controlling structure for the portal, and apparently it is remotely monitored. So if anybody attempts at using this, then the group call themselves the Devout that we have heard before is going to become immediately hostile and send someone to intercept. Now, since we have no idea where they are, who they are, or what their military capabilities are, I'm deciding not to touch this just yet. We'll return to the ship for now. We'll leave the system as with some remaining tasks, and for now we will return. There are further stars here, but I think for now we will return onto our original mission, which is to try and establish where these red raiders are coming from, We cannot deviate from our course for too long before Commodore U will get somewhat suspicious of what we are actually looking for here. He's giving me a lot of leeway, but for now I will return back to the wormhole, and then we'll see if the patrolling drones have returned. But the ship is very much still lacking a lot of capabilities that I don't want to risk stumbling into much more unknown. At least the Red Raiders are so far a relatively known quantity, and we know that we can engage them without too much trouble. Okay, we've jumped out of the gateway and immediately are coming under attack by an enemy scout drone. So I think it's just now there are more. So they definitely have returned, which means we are going to have to focus on keeping our distance and thinning out the group for now at least, while staying outside the effective weapons range. I think that's the goes 1. That is pretty much the best course of action. We can avoid most of the damage dealt by them that way, and at the same time we can thin them out until we can engage a little bit more effectively. I've taken some damage to the engines, but one of the drones comes in for a close range attack, and we have taken that one out. We're going to get rapid repairs activated. Nanosystems are online, and they should deal with the hull and propulsion damage relatively effectively while we take out the rest of them. Mostly aluminium that the tractor beam has been able to bring aboard, but we'll see if we find anything else. I'm not having my hopes up here for much, but I think that blue yep, that was 1 yttrium, so that's definitely been worth it. All right, so far with the drones, we can take these on quite successfully. Now we have 2 options. We can return to the system that we had found earlier, where we had encountered the emissary. There was some radar debris here, so that is probably the more promising prospect rather than taking the Higgs flinger into the unknown. So let's head there and see if we can learn anything else. Certainly not follow any more alien probes that create unstable subspace anomalies that drag us into faraway sectors. So let's take the speedway flinger speedway over. The engines are definitely something that we need to improve, because interplanetary or intersystem travel is seriously tedious with the current engines. So that's where we've seen the emissary, but we hadn't completed scanning the rest of the planets in this area. We found some radar debris here and had the sandstorm where Cadet Perks was not quite able to land the planetary lander due to the weather conditions. But we'll see if we can. We'll investigate the rest of this system, and then there is another flinger here that we can use for potential further exploration in that direction. The rest of the emissary system had been uneventful, so we have taken the Higgs flinger into the next system about 3 sectors away, but have been immediately jumped by a noticeable force of radar ships, including a bunch of scouts, but more interestingly, one of the, I believe they're called Lances, which is something that we actually want to engage for potential weapons, for weapons grade technology. So we'll see if we can shoot off the forward sectors on this thing, and see if we can salvage some of that. Now we've taken care of the escorts. I think the scout, we just have to keep clear of the outposts. I think the scout would be an interesting target, and see if we can shoot their forward cannons off. But we at the same time do have to be very careful not to get too close in our pursuit of technology. And we've taken quite some damage to the forward sectors, but still manageable for the repair systems. And Cadet Cygnus Lee is blasting away. And did we pick something up? I'm not sure. We picked something up. I didn't pay attention if it was technology or not. So let's keep still focusing on the forward sectors. see if we can disable and shoot off their main weapon system. I think they are mostly disabled at this point. We're just getting hit by the secondary plasma turrets, but they're still doing significant damage, so do have to be somewhat careful with that. But I think we can, in the next run, hopefully finish him off. Some more salvos, and well, the whole damage is becoming critical. Navigation sensors have been offline. We have underestimated the firepower of this thing somewhat, I think. So let's get some distance between ourselves and the ship. Yeah, the turrets are mostly inactive at this point, and we've taken quite some noticeable damage from the secondary weapons. So these lancers cannot be underestimated, even if we've disabled their primary firepower and their primary weapon system. But nano repairs have been effective, so instead we will be maintaining our distance and try to finish him off from range without taking too many more hits if possible. We had in fact initially misclassified the enemy ship as a lancer. It is actually larger. It is a radar destroyer, and it's a very similar hull formation to the lancer, but it has a significant higher amount of firepower on the secondary plasma weapons. So, and it has a very capable range. So let's make sure that we are fighting this at maximum range. The Artemis is not a warship at this point, but much more of a science and exploration vessel. So while we have done noticeable amounts of damage to their forward weapons, the hull is very much still intact. After a long and protracted battle with the enemy vessel, we have finally managed to eliminate them. And that just leaves the radar outpost in this system. But clearly we are, while somewhat combat capable, risking our lives every single time we're doing this. So we'll have to be, we'll urgently have to look into upgrading the firepower of the Artemis. The enemy outpost, however, should not be a problem. Unfortunately, in the meantime, reinforcements have warped in, and we're facing additional drones. So this is going to look like it's going to become a protracted fight here, in which we have to deal with warping and reinforcements. This also gives me a good indication that we are getting closer to our goals, because if the radar presence is increasing, that means that we are starting to get somewhere where they don't want us to be. We just have to make sure that we fight our way through the enemy drones and then finish off the station before they're able to reinforce once more. Let's get the reinforcements dealt with. That's one drone down. The drones are relatively easy. They just have a single plasma turret, unless they come in swarms. Then they're a bit more problematic. It's the larger ships that we're struggling with. The outposts as well are no problem, but the lancers and the destroyers with their fixed forward cannons are more trouble. Okay, where's the rest of them? I think we're chasing one drone quite far away now. Mostly they're dropping aluminium, which is useful, but is not really. Yeah, we're chasing them quite a bit away now, so I'm actually going to return to the start. Oh no, there they come. Okay, can we finish them off? Yeah, there we go. Okay, drone has been finished off. Let's bring in the resources, and then we're heading back towards the towards the outpost, and see if we can finish that off. There were still a few drones flying around, I believe, in the system. I don't think I finished them all off, but. Let's get within maximum range of the plasma guns and then finish off the outpost before any further warp-ins are causing us trouble. Okay, this outpost is a little bit upgraded. They actually have plasma weapons that can reach us as well, by the looks of it. So, yeah, they are definitely able to return fire. But I think given that they're stationary, yeah, the outposts are not quite as tough as the destroyers. Okay, and we have picked up titanium and some other materials. Before we, let's scan the planet to see what they were defending here. There were no anomalies, so maybe it's one of the other planets in this system. And yeah, there's another scout flying around a little bit further out. Okay, we'll ignore the scout for now and see if we can scan the other. We're getting too close to the star again. Let's get out of the immediate vicinity of that. There is a terrestrial world here orbiting this yellow star. See if we can find anything interesting there. That gives us more clues as towards what the raiders were actually defending here. Terrestrial planet. Nothing on the terrestrial planet, and there is a... what else do we have? There's a rocky world. There's another flinger here. Okay, on the rocky world we've noticed something. So away team, down to the surface you go. Antiquated frigate, a wreck, used fission impulse thrust to propel itself through space. Fortunately, whatever caused its crew to abandon ship wasn't the lack of fuel, to which the team helps themselves. 6 uranium have been collected by the team. That is good news. And Lieutenant Avery says that some of the team members are now up for a field promotion. We'll look into that once we've completed our mission here. For now, we've got another desert world to scan, and there is yet another anomaly that we can investigate. Some eons ago, some geologic event thrust iridium deposits up to the surface. Wind and erosion forces have carried away all but the hardest stone, leaving a few rich nodes. Alright, I will return to the ship. Personal log, Alex Triton. We've all known that venturing out into the unknown would be much more dangerous than digging up pre-imperial artifacts, but one of our recent landings almost ended in a disaster. We were investigating the ruins of a civilization that had faced a climate collapse and a global flood when Mark was trapped and captured by primitive locals. Jennifer wanted to shoot our way through and get him out, but I was able to convince the captain of a diplomatic solution. In the end, it took a little demonstration of a plasma rifle to convince him that we were not to be trifled with, and they released Mark. He has been more sullen than usual since, however. He had asked me the other day if I was on his side when the time came, and I have no idea what he's up to. On a recent drop on a planet with a hostile atmosphere, he all but seemed to sabotage the mission, and insisted that it was too risky to proceed. Before we proceed through the next Higgs flinger, I'm sitting down with Cadet Kepler, and we're taking a look at her report on the radar coil device that we picked up from one of the recent battles. A warp telemetry beacon used to coordinate ship movements from a central location. Interesting, so these drones, because we have established that they're unmanned at this point, appear to be remote controlled through long distances. So there must be some place where we can, if we can find wherever they're controlling these from, maybe we can put a stop to them. Meanwhile, I am as Commander Second Class I am in my rights to hand out field promotion, and that means distributing skill points. Now I did have, where was it? The plasma fire support. So 1 tactics increases the plasma turret accuracy, but I think it was an observation or an astroscience. Astroscience increases expected value of resource drops, and observation increases detection range. I don't think we have the ones from biomed, and we have the ones from one from engineering as well. So we can get repair range, resource drops, scanning range, or plasma turret fire rate. I think honestly I'm mostly keen on resource drops at this point. So we're going to get Cadet Kepler to run a bit of a training session while we are flying through void space and there's nothing else going on, which means everybody else can keep an eye on the ship's sensors. So we're going to get everyone. No, sorry, that was detection range. Astroscience is what it's Cassie Perks who runs the session. So everybody gets some extra Astro Science. So we'll get everybody to have one additional point in Astro Science, and that at least 1 point expected value resource drops by 15%. I don't know if that stacks, but I hope so, because that should severely increase the amount of resources that we're digging up. And then we've got 2 points left. So those we can put into, probably into tactics. So let's get Cadet Cygnus Lee to teach. I mean, she works with Cassie Perks a lot, so she's picked up some tactics from that. Anyway, she's generally our pilot for the lander, and we'll give a little bit to Kepler as well, who can get some tactical experience. With that, we have we've assigned all the free points, and we have a bit of additional skill out of the other points. Going forward, I'm probably going to mainly focus on the primary skills. I just wanted to have some of these very useful additional skills going out there. All right, I think we are ready for the probably final jump for this episode, and to see what make our way into that orange nebula over there that we had spotted on the sensors earlier, and see if we are see what else we can find there. Okay, we have arrived in the system. No immediate hostiles detected. Let's we've jumped out straight on top of one of the moons. Let's have a look around and see if there's anything. There is another flinger here, which is probably connecting to the flinger of the first star that we came out of. But there are a few more planets to explore. So we'll continue our scans, and then we might have to take a look at. Ideally, we'd find a few more resources. Okay, there is. We have spotted an alien ship on the sensors. They don't seem to be immediately hostile. So let's see if we can make contact. It is a relatively small but clearly heavily armed ship. Let's hail them and let's see what they want. This area is off limits to unauthorized vessels. Depart immediately. Okay. Yeah, it's clearly a military ship, and according to the sensors in the report from Cadet Cygnus Lee, we should not be engaging in hostility. So we'll have to be careful with that. For now, we will not meant to trespass, and we will depart immediately. Okay. Ships with red and yellow markings. All the red raiders, yes. Let's see if they know anything. They're very recent arrivals to the region. Like the pig yak fly, they are annoying in small numbers. In large numbers, they will pick your carcass clean. Yes, very much. So we have met the Ermir, who are clearly ensuring that, and yeah, they are following us out to ensure that we're actually following their instructions and steering clear of that planet. So I'm gonna take a note in the logs that this is guarded by Ermir, who seem to be not necessarily hostile, but clearly very much territorial when it comes to that. Okay, so now they're bunking off after we've left. So let's have a look and see if we can at least scan the rest of the planets without running afoul of their territory. And apparently we have completed. Okay, how did we complete the mission? Beyond the gateway. Okay, so it was literally, the mission literally just required us to explore these sectors. That was it. Okay, in that case, we will make a quick scan, and then there is a wormhole here. That's useful. That means we can get a direct line back to Seleno Station, and it makes this a lot more accessible than if we have to fly here via the Flinger network, especially with the relatively rudimentary engines that we're currently equipped with. Still no anomalies. I don't know if the Airmere would be allowing us to scan the moon, but given that they're territorial about this planet, probably not. So there's still a neighboring system that we can explore, and with the Flinger probably brings us back here. So there are wormholes, the wormhole gateways available for return to Seleno that we can pick up without too much trouble. So far, what have we learned about the Red Raiders? We've certainly found heavier presence of them. We've engaged one of their destroyers, which was a tough battle, and at times got us relatively close to a core detonation. So clearly the Artemis is not equipped to deal with the more capable combat ships from the Raider faction. So once again, we're looking to potentially upgrade the ship before we make any further moves. We've encountered the CXTA, and we have met the Guerrier, who appear to be in this territory. And with that information, the new contacts that we've made, we'll return back to Seleno, and we might actually able to see if we can trade with the Guerrier and exchange a few resources that we've accumulated, and see next episode if we can upgrade the ship somewhat to be a bit more combat capable against the Red Raiders and other potential threats, like the mysterious Devout that we've heard of, that appear very religiously motivated.